Hello, everybody. I'm back. I think maybe if I can stay in frame. Um, I'm using a different camera. There's a whole story here. I started telling it, and then I had an issue. Um, okay, so what happened was I've been missing for a couple months, and I'm trying to figure out the logistics of this right now. Um, and that's mostly because I was having some issues with technology. They claim technology is supposed to be helpful and useful, blah, 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 but sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth. Anyway, I usually record using the built-in webcam on my laptop. And I started recording this video with it, and then it quit. The reason I've been missing for a couple months is because it wouldn't work. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe there's a loose wire or something. I don't know. But we tried, uninstalling and re-downloading and reinstalling the OBS software that I use. One of these days I'm going to learn how to do the editing with it. I haven't done that yet. Let's see if I can get this slightly better. I just feel like y'all are looking up my nose. And I can't get far enough back to make it work. So there's got to be a way that I can change settings on it. I don't know. The instructions that came with it are kind of crap. Anyway, what happened was I went to make a video. Like, I don't know, mid to late January. Webcam wouldn't work. Uninstalled, re-downloaded, reinstalled the OBS software. Still couldn't get it to work. All it would do was show me OBS virtual cam and a logo. I couldn't get that to do anything. So I don't know what virtual cam even is, because if it uses the webcam that's built into the laptop, then that was the issue all along. So we figured out that it was the webcam itself. Finally got my tax refund back. Now it's the end of March. Today's the 30th of March. And my new webcam shows up. I thought, oh good, I can finally make videos. Once I figure out how to get the settings right. I mean, at this rate, I'm going to have to set it on the other side of the room to make it so that I can have my whole face in the frame. Anyway, I plug in the new webcam, and lo and behold, the webcam on the computer starts working. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Because I just got this, right? So I finally sit down and start making the video, and it froze up and the webcam on the computer quit again. Don't know why. Such is my life. But it is an older computer, so that it's probably just old. I'm guessing there's probably a loose wire in there somewhere, because obviously it works when it wants to. It just doesn't want to. Anyway, I have a book haul for today. If I can, I'm hoping I can hold them in such a way that you can see the whole book without me having to do one of these lay back and hold it up things. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I have 12 books. I've actually read 4, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've actually read 4 of them. Because, as they accumulate, you gotta have something to read. Of course, most of what I read lately has been coming from the library. It's not like I have stacks and stacks and stacks of books all over my house. Yeah. Is it possible? See? Big stack. Well, not that big. I've had bigger stacks of books, but let's start with children's. There we go. This is Amy Elizabeth Explores Bloomingdale's by E.L. Königsberg. This author has written a couple of Newbery Award winning books. And I was looking to see what else she had written and found this picture book. And the only reason I got it, and this is going to sound completely silly and stupid, the only reason I got it is because it's about a little girl named Amy Elizabeth. Now, those of you who know me know that my name is Amy, but you probably didn't know that my middle name is Elizabeth. So I'm like, it's a book about me! Not really, but, you know, it's kind of cool to find a book with your name in the title, right? It's a cute story. It's written and illustrated by E.L. Königsberg. And it's about a little girl from Houston, I think. I think she's from Houston. Let me see if I can find that real quick. And she goes to stay with her grandmother, who lives in New York. And, yeah, she's from Houston. And the whole story is she's spending this week in New York with her grandmother, and every day her grandmother's, we're going to go to Bloomingdale's. And then something happens and they don't make it. And it's cute. Okay. Let me go with this little stack. Well, crap. Now they're on the floor. My life, I swear. Okay, this one is Max's Story by W. Bruce Cameron. And it is like a middle grade, young adult book. Middle grade. It's one of the Dog's Purpose puppy tales, because the author is the one that wrote A Dog's Purpose and A Dog's Journey, and what's the other one called? A Dog's Way Home? Anyway, those books all make me cry. I haven't read this one yet. I'm looking forward to it, just because I like dog stories. But there's a whole group of them that are the puppy tales, and they're different dogs. And this one's called Max's Story, Little Dog in the Big City. Looks like a little Yorkie or that type of little small yappy dog. So there's that one. Here's one. It's a special edition. Whatever After Abby in Wonderland by Sarah Lanowski. I read a different series by her. It was a young adult. This one's more like middle grade-ish. I believe this whole stack is probably middle grade. I found them in the little free library all in one day. There was five books, and I thought, I'll pick these up because my niece might like them. She's that age. This is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland. It's got a very shiny cover with some foiling on it. You could probably, here you can see a little bit of it. Very shiny. Lots of roses on the cover with the little white rabbit and a black cat. And I'm spending the day with my best friends, Frankie and Robin, and snobby Penny. When Frankie falls into a mysterious hole behind Penny's house, we all wind up in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I've visited fairy tales before, but in Wonderland everything is topsy-turvy. There are potions that make you grow, bossy caterpillars, and a horrible Queen of Hearts. Now we have to solve a riddle from the Cheshire Cat, attend a wacky tea party with the Mad Hatter, become BFFs with Alice, and find Frankie, or else we'll be stuck in Wonderland for good. This special edition includes puzzles, games, and a Q&A with the author. It's showing like 10 other books on the back. So I guess it's a fairly long series. Showing 10 and then this one. Fairest of all, if the shoe fits, sink or swim, dream on, bad hair day, cold as ice, beauty queen, once upon a frog, genie in a bottle, sugar and spice, and then the special edition, Abby in Wonderland. Oh, cute. And there's a little planet piece of note paper. Cute. Then we have Marvel, Rocket and Groot Stranded on Planet Strip Mall by Tom Engelberger. I like Guardians of the Galaxy, so I thought Rocket and Groot might be kind of fun. This is kind of a mixed media looking. Kind of like the Spider-Man one I read not terribly long ago. But it's an adventure with Rocket and Groot. So it'll probably be pretty funny. And then I have two of them that are from, I don't know if it's a series or if it's just an imprint from Scholastic, but they're Wish books. You see down here in the corner, it's got a little circle that says Wish. It's also on the spine. We have Cake Pop Crush by Suzanne Nelson. And apparently somebody named Abby had it before it got put in the little free library, and I picked it up because it's got Abby written on the cover. And then this one's called My Secret Guide to Paris by Lisa Schroeder. If I looked inside this one, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books listed. It's got Cake Pop one listed 3rd and this one listed 4th, but they're not numbered, and they all seem to have different authors and different characters. I don't know if any of the characters like cross over in books. There's 2 of them by Wendy Mass and 2 of them by Suzanne Nelson, and all of the others are all different authors. So I don't know. I don't really know anything about them, but I thought this one looked cute with the cake pop on the cover. It says, sometimes friends, school, and boys can be a recipe for disaster. And then My Secret Guide to Paris. So I take it somebody, let's see here. Somebody named Nora is going to Paris. And this one is about a girl named Alicia Ramirez who loves baking. And I guess meets a boy who's the owner's son of a bakery who likes to bake. And they have a bake-off and probably hit it off. It's probably a meet cute romance thingy. I'm going to do these 2 together. One is children's and one's adult. I have Stories for Children and the collected stories, both by Isaac Bashevis. I'm not sure where to put the accent. Bashevis, singer. I don't really know anything about the Jewish religion, culture, or whatever, but I'm learning a lot. I've started reading this one. I'm roughly a quarter of the way through. I'm like on page 152 out of like 610. So I'm roughly, a quarter of the way through. Very interesting. The one I'm on now is actually the short story that the movie Yentl was based off of. It's Yentl the Yeshiva boy. Yeshiva? Like I said, I don't know where to put the accents. There are a lot of Yiddish words because these are translated from the Yiddish. I actually picked this one up on accident. I meant to get the children's one because he's gotten some Newbery Awards, and I'm wanting to read the Newbery medal-winning and award-winning books. And the only place I could find them was by getting this collection. So it's got the Newbery stories plus other stories. And I thought, why not, And accidentally bought this one instead and didn't realize it until I received it. And I thought, you know what, I'll read it anyway. Because he's a very well-known, award-winning author. Did he win the Pulitzer? He won something. He's produced almost 150 works. There's 47 in this volume. Winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. I knew he won something. Yeah, nothing important, just the Nobel Prize. And this one has won several Newberries for the stories that have been collected within it. Let me get the ones that fell on the floor. This is so professional. I'm such a great YouTuber. Let's see. What should I do next? Continue with the short stories. Let's continue with short stories, because I got one more that's the short stories. This is In a Glass Darkly by J. Sheridan Le Fanu. Joseph Sheridan? Whatever. This is 5 stories. 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 stories. The 5th story in this book is probably his most famous, Carmilla, which is a vampire story, often cited as a lesbian vampire story, and predates Dracula, actually. I don't know how, like a year or two before Dracula. No, more than that. More like 20 years before Dracula. Because this collection, it says, is 1872, and Dracula was, what, 1897? So 25 years before? Predates Dracula. Okay, so vampires were around before good old Dracula. That's a pretty good story. I had read it before a couple different times, and there's one called The Room in the Dragon Volant, which was really good and reminds me a little bit of an Edgar Allan Poe story. Something that happens in the story is something that also happens in some Poe stuff. What they have done is they've taken 5 short stories, novellas, put them together in this, and tied them together with the premise of, what is his name? With the premise of Justice somebody or other, or no, a doctor. Yeah, they're tied together by the idea that a doctor was Hesselius, a metaphysical doctor who is like the forerunner of a modern psychiatrist, who I guess was involved in some way in each of these stories, and says he's involved, he's reporting these incidents, and that's the thread that binds it, but that was added in after all these had already been out in the world. I guess we'll do this one next. This is a romance by Julia Kent. It's called Fluffy. And you see the sticker says autographed copy. I didn't know it was an autographed copy. I won it from Goodreads. You know how they do book giveaways, and I've won from them before. Well, this one is an autographed copy, and I didn't know it was going to be an autographed copy. I don't remember it saying that when I signed up for it, but I might have just missed it. But there it is. It's personalized and everything. So I thought that was pretty cool. Enjoy, Will, and Mallory. I was trying to figure out what that second name was. So what is this woman, Mallory, I guess, is a fluffer. What that means is she like stages houses for like open houses so that the realtors can sell them. So she ends up answering this ad for a professional fluffer because she had lost her job. She was looking for work and thought, well, hey, this is perfect, right? Because that's what she does. However, in this case, professional fluffer has a completely different meaning. She is hired to, how can I put this nicely so that YouTube doesn't panic? She's hired to arouse male actors who are performing in adult movies. Fluffing. So, the whole thing is based on a misunderstanding, and romance ensues. Because I guess she knows either the guy that owns the house or the guy that she's fluffing. She knows somebody, and when things go wrong, that person deals with it. It also came with a couple stickers. This one says, my amygdala is my favorite scapegoat. And this one says, love you, Maine, where every day is Valentine's Day. So I thought that was kind of cute. A couple little stickers, and then it's autographed unexpectedly. Make sure nothing else fell out while it hit the floor. Okay. That brings me to the last two books. I'm going to find a way to sit yet. It's going to happen. The first one... Actually, let me do this one first. First one is Young Again by Don Trouten and Valerie McKee. This one is about a jazz singer. You can see here on the cover. Her name is Mabel Johnson. And her... Is it great-granddaughter? Yeah, her great-granddaughter comes to visit because her dad has to go to Germany for a conference. He's a professor and he has to go to Germany for a conference. So the great-granddaughter... Why can I not remember her name? Great-granddaughter is Priscilla. So going to stay with great-grandma Mabel in Mississippi. Mabel is in her 90s. She has bad arthritis, and so she aches and pains, and she's had a stroke fairly recently, but she's doing fine. She's recovered well from it. Her doctor's a little worried about her, thinks she needs to have either live-in help or go live with her family, but she doesn't want to leave her house. So after Priscilla's father leaves, and it's just Priscilla and Mabel in the house, and it's bedtime, Priscilla puts out a prayer that her great-grandma Mabel would have a chance to be young again. And that's what this book's about. The next morning, they wake up, and Mabel is, in her 40s. And Priscilla just thinks it's the coolest thing, that my wish made this happen. And so, they're going to hang out and pal around and do things that they wouldn't have been able to do with grandma or great-grandma being in her 90s and in pain. Pain's gone. She's healthy. She's beautiful. The issue comes in that they had dinner. They went into town and they had dinner at a diner, and the local doctor happened to be there, and he sat with them for a little while and was talking about how Mabel's doing fine, but she really needs to have help, and blah, blah, blah. The wish happens. She's now young. The doctor shows up the next day because they had made plans to go into the neighboring town to go to this jazz museum. And there's a jazz festival happening, so they wanted to see some of the old stomping grounds. And when the doctor shows up at Mabel's house, Mabel's not there. It's this younger woman. And he's very confused. And they make it that she's like an aunt who came in from California, and that Mabel had to go into Jackson to sign some papers and wouldn't be back. But that this aunt would go with them. They started calling her Peggy. They chose that name for her. So Peggy, who is actually Mabel, goes with the doctor and Priscilla into town to go to these museums and things, and they go into this one, and there's a girl performing who's pretty good, and Peggy is like, do you mind if I play the piano for a little bit? I'm a little rusty, but I used to play. And she starts playing, and she's really great, because Mabel had won all these Grammys and was this world-renowned pianist and jazz singer. And then Peggy realizes she's playing too well, so she throws in a couple mistakes on purpose. And the owner of the bar is like, hey, you're pretty good. You almost sound like Mabel. And not realizing it is Mabel. And she's like, I'm not that good, but, she was my aunt, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she gets this gig where she plays every night for the week while she's in town to watch Priscilla. Because this wish was supposed to last for a week. Because that's what Priscilla had asked for. Could she have a week where she was young again? And when she woke up young, they figured it was for the week. But they didn't know what to do if, she turned back into Mabel, old Mabel, before that. But anyway, Peggy and the doctor hit it off. It becomes really complicated. They kind of develop a relationship. And then he stays the night on the last night and finds out that it really is Mabel and not Peggy, and it freaks him out. There's fallout. You see, I've got a couple little tabs here. One thing I thought interesting is it does talk about the Me Too movement a little bit. Because of the situations that Mabel was put into when she was younger and on tour and playing, and everything was run by men. And then there were a couple mistakes that I found. And this is an arc, so hopefully that means they are correcting these mistakes. Like one of them, they're having a discussion, and they say you might want to spend less time reading dead white authors and try some living black ones like Colson Whitehouse and Abram X. Kendi. It's not Colson Whitehouse, it's Colson Whitehead. So I'm like, that's a major oops. So that I really hope they fix. And then this one, I don't know if it was something they overlooked, but they talk about the set list they're going to play. And it says they're going to play In the Dark as the opening song, followed by a song called Black Coffee. Then the next page, they're playing In the Dark, and the next song was Fever. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did they make a change in the lineup and not discuss it on the page? Did they put the wrong song title in either discussion of what they're going to play or in what they're actually playing? That one kind of threw me a little bit. Another one, they mentioned the National Enquirer and they spelled it wrong. I mean, it's just a few little things. I forget what I marked this for. I don't know. Anyway, just a couple minor little things that are easily fixed. So, I thought it was really a pretty good book. It was well constructed. It was well written, other than a few minor things that I already pointed out. I think it's really good, and I believe it comes out May 17th, and the card that had that information is missing. I think May 17th is the date that one comes out, because I believe this one comes out in September. Yeah, this one comes out September 15th, so May 17th for Young Again. This one is Mother Tongue by Joyce Cornblatt. I may have hauled this before. I don't know. It might have been in the last video I did. I just think this cover is just amazing. Joyce Cornblatt is an author from Australia, and this is set in Australia, and it's about a writer named Nella Pine, who, when she was like 3 days old, was kidnapped out of the hospital in Pittsburgh by one of the nurses and taken to Australia, and then she grew up raised by this nurse. So this is the only person she ever knew as a parent. And on the nurse's deathbed, she finds out that things aren't as they seem. She finds out that she had been kidnapped and that, whatever. And there's a confession letter. And so this whole thing deals with with Nella, who is actually Naomi. She was named Naomi when she was born, but her name was changed when she was kidnapped. It all takes place with her dealing with the fallout of this. And I thought the concept was phenomenal. I loved the idea. What if you were kidnapped out of the hospital as a baby and then you grew up as this other person? I didn't like the execution of it. I loved the idea, didn't like the execution. Now, I will say that Joyce Cornblatt's writing is absolutely beautiful and poetic. This is not a linear narrative at all, which I think maybe if it had been, I might have liked it better. But she goes on and on and on, and she'll mention something, and you're like, who's that? And that person's not brought up again or introduced until several chapters later. And you find out, oh, that was her husband, or that was a friend, or that was... And it's just like, shouldn't you have introduced them before you mention them randomly in passing? Because we don't know who the hell you're talking about. Another thing that drove me nuts is chapters are numbered, as is normal. I mean, that's pretty standard stuff, right? Let's see, 17. After chapter 17, they changed to names for the chapter headings. It's not chapter 18, it's chapter Alex. What the hell? Why are we changing the structure of the book suddenly? I mean, we are 116 pages in, and now we change how we divide the chapters. Why was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 good, and then suddenly it's Alex? Alex isn't a number! But we have Alex, and then we have Leah 1, 2, 3. And it's like, what? And then we get, I think the last chapter has a different name. Yeah, Deborah is the last chapter. It's so confusing. So if you're trying to tell somebody where things are in a book, oh yeah, it's in chapter Leah 3. I don't like that. I think it also mentioned penguins in Alaska, and penguins don't live in the northern hemisphere, they live in the southern hemisphere. So they're not going to be in the Arctic Circle, they're going to be in the Antarctic Circle. Which is, something easily discovered. If you know anything about penguins, and because you're discussing penguins, you should at least know that much, that they don't frickin' live in Alaska, unless they're in a zoo. But they're talking about going to see them in the wild. No. No. But I don't know. It jumps around so much, and I had to keep stopping and trying to figure out who she's talking about. And so that one didn't work for me. It might work better for somebody else. I don't mind you moving back and forth in a timeline, but it's not, I don't know, the way this was structured, it doesn't work that way. I think it really would have worked better in a more linear structure. But hey, that's just my opinion, right? Somebody else might love it. I didn't. I was disappointed, because I was really looking forward to that one. And apparently it's already out in Australia. This is the U.S. publication. Comes out in September. I think it came out in like 2010. Does it say in here? Copyright 2022. I don't know. I think on Goodreads I saw that it was out in like 2010 or something. And that's the Australian version. The author is American born, moved to Australia in 2003. I don't know. She's a professor of creative writing, so maybe that's how she gets away with it. Definitely would say it falls into literary fiction. I was hoping it'd be more mystery or thriller, based on the description being it's about a woman who discovers that she was kidnapped as a child and raised by somebody else. I really thought it was going to be one thing, and it was something completely different. Maybe that's part of the issue for me. I don't know. But all in all, that's 12 books that I have hauled since the beginning of the year. And hopefully I can figure out this camera setup. Because this is driving me crazy. I'm watching it on the screen, and trying to get to where I'm enough in the frame that you're not looking up my nose, because I really feel like half the time it's taking the image up my nose, and being back far enough, but I don't know, framing is bad, and I need to figure out a better way to do this. Anyway, I'm back, and hopefully I will have some more videos coming. I want to do a taste test video, but I want to pick something else up before I do it. Because I don't know if these are new, or if they're just a new version of one that's already been out. I know they've had this out before in a different flavor, so I don't know if this is just a new flavor or if it's the same old flavor just described differently. It doesn't necessarily say new on the pack, so I don't know. But there's a couple other things I want to pick up and just do kind of a cheesy snack taste test thing, comparison, whatever. I finally tried those Pop-Tarts that I mentioned about a year ago. And let me tell you, it would have been a very disappointing video because every single one of them tasted like crust. There was no flavor. There was mango, didn't taste any mango, tasted crust. There was lemon cream pie, didn't taste any lemon, tasted crust. There was, what was the other one? Peach cobbler, didn't taste any peach, I tasted crust. Very disappointing. Come on, Pop-Tarts, if you're going to put out these special flavors, put some freaking flavor in them. I don't want to just eat crust. Sweet crust, because it's got a little bit of that nasty glaze icing stuff on them. Ew. And then we picked up like a box of Great Value brown sugar cinnamon ones. Those are really good because there's flavor there. Pop-Tarts is the name brand. They should have more flavor than the generics. Come on. So, you didn't miss much. Anyway, my dinner's getting cold and I have a stuffy nose. So since I have a couple things to take care of, I will do that and let you go for now. I will try to do probably over the weekend, maybe, if I'm lucky. I also have an unhaul I could do. Yeah, maybe I'll do an unhaul video. I have never done an unhaul video. But I do have some I'm going to donate to the Little Free Library or the public library for their book sale. Either or. Some of them came from the book sale previously, so, I don't have any problem with giving them back and say, here, sell them again. I will probably be putting Mother Tongue in that because I don't think I want to keep it. I was disappointed. But yeah, I read Mother Tongue, Young Again, In a Glass Darkly, and Amy Elizabeth Goes to Bloomingdale's, or whatever it's called. So those are the 4 I read out of the 12, so, that's not terrible. And I'm a quarter of the way through another one, the biggest one of the stack, so we're getting there. Planning on listening to Finley Donovan is Killing It, which is actually a library book. Planning on listening to that this evening. So hopefully it's as good as everybody says. I've seen lots of people talk about it and how much they love it. I know Kayla from Books and Lala talks about it all the time and how much she loved it, and she's excited to read the second one. So I'm going to try it and see if I like it too. It sounds like it's right up my alley, so hopefully. I've been knocking out some series books lately. I just finished Ellis for Lawless on the Sue Grafton, Kinsey Milhone series. So I need to request M from the library. I have N and O on the shelf, but I don't have M. So as I read the ones I've got, I'm sending them back to me for the book sale or for the Little Free Library, whichever. Some of them I somehow duplicated letters. I don't know. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Let's see, how do I wrap these up? Remember to do all the YouTube-y stuff. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Ring the bell icon for notifications of when I upload. Hopefully it'll be a little more often. I am not currently working. I'm looking for a new job. After my injury last fall, I tried going back when things started back up in January and survived a week, and I felt my knee going again. I'm like, nope. I can't take going through all the physical therapy and stuff again, and if it keeps getting bad, they're talking surgery, and I really don't want to go to surgery, so I thought, well, better to leave the job and apply for something else. So now we're in the job hunt mode. And it kind of sucks because nobody's calling me back. I send an application or a resume or whatever, and I get no response. So, yeah, somewhere along the line, I'll find something. If you know of anything, please put it in the messages down below, because I would really like to find a job. There won't be a lot of book hauls unless I'm getting books for free. I actually bought the 2 Singers and the Le Fanu book, and the Königsberg. Everything else was either sent to me by the publisher, like the 2 arcs, or I won off Goodreads for Fluffy, and then the other ones all came from the Little Free Library. So, I like to take advantage when I can for ways of getting things cheap and free. Excuse me. So I'm going to let you go now. I already did my little spiel, so we'll see you next time. Bye. And maybe I can get this camera set better so that it doesn't look so ridiculous. Bye.